This podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Shadows creep, the clock strikes 3. Whispers hum through the old oak tree. Secrets hide where the moon won't shine. Is it a chill or a ghostly breeze? A knock, a tap, what do you believe? Ghosts, gossip, gather around where the lost and the haunted are found. Ghosts, gossip, don't make a sound. Truth or tales, we'll dig it out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ghost Gossip. My name is Ashley, and I am your host, and today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Ashley as well. All the Ashleys. We just take them all here, and she is actually from Pen Paranormal. I just want to give a quick shout out to JD from Chumming with the Spirits, who really helped encourage me to step out of my comfort zone and message Ashley. And I'm so glad I did because it was such an amazing interview. It was one of those interviews that my soul needed, and I didn't know I needed it until it happened. So I hope you really enjoyed today's show. Ashley is such a joy and a breath of fresh air. Shout out to John. I've mentioned John before from Myths, Monsters, and Mullets has also been incredible. When you've been in this world and you've just been kind of chugging along on your own, and then you kind of find this network of people who are really supportive. It really surprised me, but it was a much needed surprise. And it really was like giving me a second wind to push past this little wall that I've been behind. So thank you guys. And I really hope you all enjoy Ashley from Pen Paranormal. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ghost Gossip. Today I am here with Ashley from Pen Paranormal, and she is so gracious enough to take time out of her day to talk with me today. Hey, Ashley, all the Ashleys in one room.
All together.
All together. We are definitely, the generation, the name Ashley is dying out. But yeah, I was born in the 80s.
It's a classic. I was not born in the 80s, but
I don't believe it.
I won't give my age away.
No, don't give your age away. But I'm serious. I don't believe it at all. And when you said that the other day in a comment, I was like, there's no way. Yes, whatever you're doing, I need.
It's the ghost hunting. I mean, that's what it is,
It's
right?
the ghost hunting.
I hang out with the young kids. We go out, stay up late at night, just like I'm a teenager, and it keeps you young.
I love that. I love that so much. That is a good segue, too. So tell me about yourself and tell me what you do.
Well, I didn't form a team to do paranormal investigations until several years ago. More recent though, but way back in the day when like Ghost Hunters and those shows first started coming on TV, my best friend and I got together and started investigating with like our little tape player, the old-timey ones that you just hit play and record, and they were little.
Yeah.
We would go out to the cemetery with that and try and capture EVPs, and we both grew up in a really haunted area. Like we lived just next to each other and on farm property, but it was haunted, so we both had experiences since we were little girls and both fascinated with it. So that's kind of what brought me to the point of like, let's form a team and actually get out there and do some investigating. And it's been nothing but a good time.
Well, like you said, you were just talking about the little tape recorders. How has your ghost hunting evolved from when you first started?
Oh gosh, so much, because we didn't know what we were doing back then. However, at the same time, it was so pure back then because it was just us and our senses and our little tape recorder and a flashlight, or not a flashlight, but like a flash digital camera. Like we didn't even use our phone cameras. So that's kind of where I started, and then to come to this place where I have, toolboxes full of equipment, and really at the end of the day, the quality of the investigation hasn't changed that much. We have greater tools, but still capture about the same amount of evidence. I mean, I captured EVPs with a tape recorder that were clearer than what I capture now with a digital recorder. So it's just, has it evolved? Yes, but is the quality like way better because of the technology? Not necessarily.
I've had some investigators tell me your senses are truly the best hunting tools that you will have as a paranormal investigator.
I believe that to be true. When someone asks, what my favorite thing is to use, it's definitely just my senses or sitting quietly. We don't get that opportunity a lot when we investigate with groups and other teams and such, but when we do go, just Craig and I, because my husband, he's part of the team too, it's him and I. And when we go out together and we're just alone at a place, it's nice to just sit and really feel things out.
That's awesome. I love that. And I don't investigate often. I tell people, like, I'm a podcaster, not an investigator. And I love to tell people's stories. So I love to hear about what got you into it and the favorite things and how they things have evolved. Because I mean, just in the time that I've been doing this podcast, things have changed. And I'm on year 3 and things are coming out like every single day. And it's just like, okay, wow.
Absolutely. There's always a new piece of equipment. Just when you think you have the next best thing, there's something out that's better. So
Right.
it's a constant
Right.
race to keep up and pull in the equipment that you think is going to get you the best. Not evidence necessarily, but communication with spirits.
What has been your most compelling piece of evidence that you've gathered over the years?
Unlike a lot of teams, we don't do a whole lot of recording. Like, I'll record bits and pieces here and there, but I don't carry around a camera with me all the time, so I'm not recording. We've caught some good EVPs that we can show people, but for me, it's mostly about the personal experience. And, I document through writing, hence Pen Paranormal, like what I'm experiencing. So I don't have a lot on video. I have some and some on audio, but probably, well, definitely my biggest experiences haven't even been captured. It's just things I experience and then I write them. One house in particular that I started going to almost 2 years ago, the Garnet House Hotel. It's nearby, so it's just like an hour and 45 minutes from the house, and I can easily travel there and come home in an evening if I choose to. So it's a place I've been to. The very first night we went, I was scared out. Like, the whole team, we were scared out of the place. Only time I've been scared out of a location. And I've just continued to go back to try and, document and just research and gather as much evidence as I can to, like, try and figure it out, because it's the mystery of it that continues to kind of pull me back in.
It's funny that you bring up the Garnet House because Jolly from SoCo Paranormal, when I did his interview, that was the same house that he brought up. And I have been wanting to try to reach out to Justin to see if he would come on, but I know he's busy and I am extremely introverted, believe it or not. And it takes me a while to warm up to email people or message people. And so I haven't messaged him yet, but the Garnet House has fascinated me and I want to do an episode on it.
It's an amazing location. We're fortunate to have a lot of good locations around us where we're at, but the Garnet House is definitely the location that changed me as an investigator. I actually met Jolly there, so the night that he and his team came, I went and let them in and gave them the tour. So that was fun to get to meet them.
He told me that he had met somebody else the first time he went, and then he met Justin the second time. So he told me that he met somebody and you were her.
Yes, I
That is
am.
so funny. It's a
Yeah,
full circle moment.
it is.
What is your favorite thing about the Garnet House? Because I've watched so many videos and it just seems like there's so much evidence that is just overwhelming.
Hmm.
And as somebody who's been there, like, what do you think is like the most prevalent or the biggest piece?
The poltergeist activity is definitely the most impressive to me. And I think it's because for years I had this belief that spirits only had so much power and that you're only associating with, like, the dead or a demon. It's like one or the other. And the Garnet House has really opened my eyes to the possibility that it might not be either. It could be something that's created or manifested through thought, or like a thought form, or tulpa, something like that. It's really pushed me to go outside my comfort zone and start theorizing about some different possibilities there in the house. So back to your question, what impacted me the most there? And like I said, it's the poltergeist activity, but it is big poltergeist activity. So in the videos and stuff, you see like the dolls fall and little
Right,
things
right.
move or things thrown sometimes. But our first night there, it was a huge like a well, it's actually the sliding wooden piece that goes to the attic entrance. It had been standing up, I think, against the wall in the attic, and it got knocked over. So when we were up in the attic room, the room just below the attic, it fell and we thought the ceiling was coming in. It sounded like somebody had just dropped a bowling ball above us. And the moment that that happened and we all kind of like ducked to get out of the way of whatever it was that was falling, then a big rubber ball just gets thrown down at me through the attic entrance. And in that moment, I thought, okay, poltergeists can be much more powerful than what I envisioned them to be. You know, you see that what happens in the movies and you think, well, that's just in the movies. And in that house, it's more than just in the movies. It becomes a reality really quickly.
I want to go there. I'm nowhere near there, but I want to go there.
Well, if you ever come this way, let me know.
I will. So you said your husband does it with you. Is he into this like you are, or is he like kind of like my husband who is just really supportive and he's just like, I'm going with you because this is what you want to do.
That's kind of it. I mean, the more we've done it, the more interested he's become. So it started out as, you know, him supporting me, and he's really developed an interest in it. And he doesn't go as much as I do, but he goes to a lot of the like bigger locations, especially the ones that I would not want to go to alone.
Absolutely. And do you have a group of other women that you investigate with? Because I've seen you in pictures with other women.
I
Is
do.
that like your group?
Yeah, it's kind of a girl squad that we go investigate together, and it's several teams that come together for that. So there's Jocelyn Lichtenwalter, and she's recently established her reputation as like the creepy doll girl, creepy doll lady. She collects haunted dolls. She's fascinating, as is her collection. And then Let's Go Ghouls, who is Ashley Pritz,
Another
and
Ashley. Yep.
yes, another Ashley. So the two of them actually have Let's Go Ghouls together. They recently joined forces. And then Haunted Neighbors Paranormal. So Jen from Haunted Neighbors is part of that group as well. And then I have a good friend, Jessica Bishop. So she's in Word of Night Paranormal. And we go a lot of places together. Sometimes the groups don't always overlap, but gosh, I have so many close girlfriends in the community. So it just kind of depends on the weekend. There might be four of us one weekend and seven of us the next, but so many great people I've met. The Epic VIP events with Mike and Sam, they do a lot of events throughout the Midwest, and Erica Burton is their lead investigator. She comes to a lot of our things too and is fantastic.
Are y'all all in? I'm guessing y'all have to be relatively close. Are y'all all in about the same vicinity?
Well, the farthest away is probably down by Duncan, Oklahoma, which is right near the Texas border. MT Paranormal is down there. McKenna, she does events with us. And then we go as far north as Kansas City. So it's a pretty big, it's practically a two-state stretch from the southern border of Oklahoma up to the northern border of Kansas.
Wow. Well, that is awesome. That really is very cool. I'm in South Carolina and I feel like I know there's a investigative group that kind of covers the state.
Hmm.
And I know there's individuals, but it doesn't seem like there's a ton. And maybe that's just my ignorance, not knowing, but it's just like locations. There doesn't seem to be a ton of locations in South Carolina, and there's not a ton of like investigative groups in South Carolina. Like it maybe, like I said, maybe I just don't know. Maybe I'll learn.
And you will. You'll discover more the longer you're in it. The community is vast yet small at the same time, which makes it really fun because once you start, you know, meeting people in the community, there you have so many friends, and it makes like the paracons or the get-togethers just a lot of fun.
And it's funny that you say that it's vast but small because a lot of the groups that you were naming, I follow on Instagram and TikTok and now Facebook.
Yes, welcome to Facebook.
Welcome to Facebook. I have avoided Facebook for 3 years because where I worked, I didn't want them to know. what I did because they're nosy and they're judgmental and they're all up in everybody's business. So I kind of kept that really private, but I quit about a year ago. And so I'm slowly venturing out of my shell, allowing like my friends and family to know what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And like, I don't care. Let them judge me. I don't care.
I mean, you kind of get to that point, and it's sad because if your hobby was golfing, you wouldn't ever feel like you had to hide that. But because it is paranormal related, I know I've gone back and forth with the same thing. I'm a school counselor by day, and so that's kind of a, unusual hobby maybe for a school counselor, but at the same time, I've found that so many investigators are either kind of people who chase adrenaline, so a lot of police officers, EMTs, fields like that, or healers, people in the healing field, so counselors and nurses. And it's interesting to see what people's day jobs are because they kind of tend to fall the majority into those categories because they're either chasing that, I don't want to say chasing a high, but you know what I mean, like that adrenaline, or going in to consult with the spirits or just have conversations.
Has any of your students ever found out about your hobbies or parents? Have they ever found out?
Students have, and probably parents too. And the reason students have is because my son goes to school where I'm a counselor. And so, yeah. So when his friends come over, they ask a lot of questions about it and want to look at the equipment and stuff like that. But we don't get too deep into things for sure.
My daughter is starting to talk about what I do and the podcast and starting to tell people like, Mom, my mom's got a TikTok. And then people realize that they've been seeing my stuff and they're like, that's your mom. I see her. And so it's weird, but it's neat because at first she was not embarrassed, but she was, I don't know, cringe about it. Mom, you know. And so now that she's kind of leaning into it, it's nice that she's not embarrassed by me.
Yes, that's nice. That is nice.
What are the most common misconceptions the public might have about investigating, in your opinion?
Probably the biggest is that we're out encountering, demonic forces all the time, or like there's a demon at every location, or that spirits are just demons pretending to be spirits. And gosh, once you've been in the field for a while, I think it would change anyone's mind that even had that perception. But, so many are just have that wall up and they won't even entertain the idea that this could be something that's not only real, but is pretty benign, just like having a conversation with a living person.
Hmm.
I would say I don't think out of any investigation I've ever been on that I've encountered something demonic. I don't believe that I have.
Right. Yeah, I tell people all the time just because it's heavy or negative doesn't mean it's demonic. That word gets thrown around so easily. And there's some big YouTubers out there that kind of they feed into that fire.
They do. Right, they do.
Oh, like in the title, demonic, met an entity, almost quit. And it's like, did you?
Right. Again, it's the scariest location you've ever been to.
You were just at another place last week, and that was the scariest place you've ever been to. So, and then next week's probably going to be the same.
Right. What I've learned is that YouTube gives suggestions on what you should title your episodes. And so it'll get the most views by titling those certain things. And so I think that's why you see a lot of that. I don't think it's that they actually believe that that's what they're encountering, but
That makes sense. No wonder my views aren't high on YouTube. I don't title it my stuff like that.
there you go.
It all makes sense now. If you see on YouTube any of my videos, demon, you just know that. I'm just doing it for views.
I'm going to know. I'm going to know.
You're like, she knows. What is a case that impacted you the most? Like if you could think back to one investigation that just kind of blew your mind and changed how you looked at it.
Definitely my experience at Garnett House changed me as an investigator because it showed me how powerful the paranormal can be. Yeah, the case that impacted me most personally was actually a private investigation, so I can't reveal the location,
Right.
but it was actually it was at a museum, and we were able to connect with a spirit. And the woman who was working at the museum, she was in her 80s at the time. She, well, still is, but she was able to connect with this person, and it was a dear friend of hers. And I think there just had not been closure there. So a lot of his things were in the museum, and she was able to connect and have some communication with him. And just seeing her so peaceful. It brought her such peace, I think. And seeing that, especially for somebody her age, to be open minded and come into an investigation and want to be there and participate in it. And then in the end, her getting these messages that were so meaningful to her. So that was definitely the case that impacted me most.
Well, that's beautiful. That might have impacted me. Just the thought, because a lot of you don't think of people in their 80s being open to something like this.
We showed up, and it was kind of like what you were talking about. You show up and there's an 80-year-old woman there, kind of in the Bible Belt. And I did not tell her who I was. I just asked for the organizer of the museum. And
Ooh.
because I thought she's not gonna like the fact that I am a paranormal investigator. So the lady that runs the museum, she was expecting us. So when she called, when the 80-year-old woman called and said, "Hey, your guests are here," they were like, "Oh, that's Pen Paranormal." And then she was just so excited. She's like, "I've heard all about you," and she was really into it. And I was like, "Hey, do you want to come investigate with us tonight for a while?" And she said, "Oh, I can't. I mean, it's been a long day. I really can't. But what time should I be here?"
So how do you prepare for an investigation? Like spiritually, mentally, physically, prep wise, what do you do?
Kind of depends on the location that I'm investigating. A lot of times it's just setting intentions. Sometimes there's prayer before I go into a location. We went to Sally House. Sorry. It's been active here.
What was that? Are you okay?
Yeah, there was a box on top of another box and it just fell off.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So I, this house is haunted. Our place is haunted, but it is rarely like a lot of poltergeist stuff. Last night we had three things fly off of like something off the back counter. I got up and I was fixing dinner, and my phone, which was just sitting on the couch, flies off onto the floor. And finally I was just like, "Okay, I need you to stop. Stop." But yeah, that was like a big box on top of another box and it just fell off. We had
Oh,
stuff around last night and I hadn't put it all back yet.
you don't have anybody named Gregory, do you?
No,
Okay.
no Gregory.
That name just came up. I'm
Okay.
like, was it Greg?
I don't think I have a Gregory. That doesn't sound familiar.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that jolted my insides awake. I was like,
Yeah,
whoa.
sorry about that. I mean, I saw it sliding and I was like, "Oh, that's going to be so loud." I don't
You were
even
so
know
calm.
what the was. Oh, what I do to prepare.
Yes, I will say this door right here I had open today and it closed. And I was like, that's weird. And then I tried it again to see if it would close on its own again because they are self closing, but it wasn't in the catch point. And I did it again and it closed again. So I did it again and then it didn't do it anymore. So not haunted, but things just kind of hang around me.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's hanging around. Or even doing these interviews, what comes through and travels to
Hmm.
you from other places. Yeah.
Yep. And they were like, she's got an interview. Let's get loud.
Yeah. So we went to Sally House 2 weeks ago, and so to prepare there, it was very different. Like we did big preparation. We carried things for protection. A friend of mine that was on the investigation, he brought a Dybbuk box, and yeah, so that was a little nerve-wracking. And then they decided to open it. So Craig and I went outside and again, like prayed and just did prayers of protection. And yeah,
Why?
why? I know why
Ooh.
I would not have opened it. That's not something.
Mm-mm.
Number one, I'm not even sure that I believe that you can trap a spirit in a box. Like I'm not sure that I have that belief.
Right.
But there has been some interesting stuff happen since it was opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, so my friend Jocelyn took it home with her to put in her haunted doll room because when we opened it, inside was a voodoo doll or like similar to
No.
a voodoo doll. It wasn't like the one with all the pins in it, not like that type, but it was a doll and it had been smudged with ash and dirt, which evidently is how they would seal
Mhm.
the bad spirit into the doll. And then they had closed the box and waxed it shut. So she opened the box, and that night, it's almost like you could sense that the house was really ticked off that there was a new spirit, like that we had brought in and unleashed like a new spirit. Like I say, probably not a decision I would have made. But what can I say? I have adventurous friends, and
They're chasing that adrenaline.
yeah, exactly. And they're kind of, Jocelyn's more of kind of an expert in that field more than I am. So yeah, she opened it and she's had a lot of crazy activity at her house since. And so she actually sealed it back up last night, put it behind glass and blessed it and sealed it up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they are braver than I am. But you were saying that with the Sally house, y'all went with JD, right? With Chumming with the Spirits?
No, we didn't go with JD. He went a different
No,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went with the same group of girls that I just was referring to a few minutes ago. And then Craig was on that investigation, and Josh Anaya, who has Phantasma. He does a lot of TikTok work.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
he's the
follow
one that
Phantasma.
does. Yeah, and he actually is investigated Garnett with Jolly that second time.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes. Okay.
same
That
shipping box that they had at Garnett. It just wasn't open till the Sally house.
of all the places to open a box like that.
I know.
What are your thoughts about the Sally house? Because, I've heard so many different things. You hear demonic, you hear it's an egregore, you hear it's a little girl. What do you think about it?
The first time we went to Sally House, we didn't get anything. Like it was just very quiet. And then the night that we most recently went, I've only been twice. When we went a couple
Mhm.
of weeks ago, it was very active. Had a couple of friends get really affected while we were there. Just EVPs, like just nonstop. I mean, you could practically go into any room, closet, and record and get something as far as evidence. So what is it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's demonic. I'm not quick to jump to something being demonic. I'm not saying it couldn't be. It could be, but I just think I don't believe demons hide out in empty houses. I think that
Right.
if you're dealing with something demonic, if those things truly exist, they're working. They're working in your homes and your schools and your where people are. They're not sitting in a dark basement by themselves waiting for you to come to them. And so kind of with Sally House, I don't know. Like I think there's definitely something there. I think it's negative. I think that it might not have started as negative. It might have just started as something that maybe had an aversion to men for whatever reason,
Mhm.
Sally or somebody else. And then with all of Tony Pickman's experiences there, when he lived in the
Mhm.
home, and Deborah's as well, but especially Tony being so targeted that people began to treat whatever it was there as a demon. And so, just like a thought form, if you're treating something like they're demonic, they're going to take on those
Yep.
characteristics and behave in that manner.
You want a demon, I'll give you a demon.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I also think, just in my unprofessional opinion, because I'm not an investigator, but just somebody that has watched and learned and just experienced through other people, I think too, if you're going to all these different dark locations and you're not protecting yourself and you are essentially summoning things, you might be bringing things into that house too. And that could cause energy to shift and morph and manifest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Mm.
agree. You bring it, especially in a location like you say that is haunted by something that people consider very negative. That's where they bring in like a Dybbuk box or a Ouija board and they set it up and open those things up. And some people are trained, to properly close them and put things back where they belong, and others aren't. And so when that continuously happens, just like you say, it's like I heard somebody compare it to Swiss cheese. Like every time somebody goes, they're just taking a chunk out, and eventually it implodes.
Yeah, I get that. I did an episode on the Sally House. I've never been, but I did an episode, and that was pretty much what I thought. Like when you have just all these people flocking there and opening those doors, not closing them, just willy nilly, it can create. And I do think there is something behind the egregore theory because so many people think that that is what it is. So that must be what it is. You believe it, then it is.
Yes, absolutely.
If you could investigate anywhere, like anywhere, where would it be?
That's a tough question. I should have like something just like ready to go, but I don't. Like I've been fortunate enough to investigate a lot of the places that I really wanted to go, or the tops on my list. I would probably say Eloise Asylum. That would probably be a pick for me that I haven't been. And I don't have a really good reason, except that my grandmother's name was Eloise. And so when I hear Eloise Asylum, I always think, oh, I want to go there. And I know it's a really active location. So I just think it would be neat to go there.
Where is it?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what state it's in. I would have to Google that. I know it's somewhere kind of
Okay.
northeast. But Ashmore Estates in Illinois, that's another one that I would love to go to. Craig likes all the aliens.
It's got aliens?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
Well, no, it has lots of ghosts, but I'm saying like they do a lot of sky watching around there. They have some weird phenomena that happens around that property. So they kind of bring it all in at Ashmore.
I had no idea about that part of it.
I don't know if it's just the investigators I've talked to that do that or if it's actually the location owners.
That's really cool. My husband would love that. That would get him there.
There you go.
Maybe that's what I should tell him. Be like, by the way,
Same with Craig, he likes that. He likes to watch the sky.
is he like a conspiracy theorist or like Bigfoot guy?
I mean, we're all a little bit Bigfoot in this family.
Yeah.
We're enthusiasts being out here in the country, but Craig's, yeah, he's definitely more of a conspiracy theorist than the rest of us.
Yeah, my husband too. We have an episode where I just asked him about conspiracy theories for like 45 minutes and he just was
Nice.
so excited.
There you go.
Looking ahead, what are your hopes for the future of your paranormal research and investigative group, as well as just research in general?
Well, I'm not looking to get famous. That's something that's not on my list. I really love where I am right now. Like, I love the friends that we have and just getting to go and investigate and share ideas and share theories. And I feel like we're constantly growing in our knowledge just from the experiences, but also having just such a vast array of friends in the field and getting to have those discussions with them. I feel like that's what it's all about to me. I'm not a researcher per se, but like I say, I like to record, write things out, and see where things take me. But that's more of kind of like a personal journey. It's not something that, I'm wanting to put out there or publish or anything like that. Jocelyn and I are getting ready to write a book together. So it's on each of her haunted dolls. So each doll will be a chapter. And so we're
That's
getting ready to
cool.
do that. So that's something that I'm looking forward to doing. Other than that, it's really about just, like I said, those personal experiences and having fun with it, but at the same time making a difference where we can, just like the case that I was telling you about. Those private investigations or residential investigations, those are sometimes the very best and meaningful for sure. So yeah, just a lot. Like we get so much out of it on so many different levels. And I just want to keep doing what we're doing.
I love that. Just building the community, you know, this community, just the little bit of groups and people that I have met, they have been absolutely incredible and supportive. And what I love about it is there's so many individuals and groups. They want to see success from everybody.
I mean, most everyone in the field is very supportive of each other. I agree. It's really wonderful. It's a great community to be a part of.
Most definitely. Are you up and by the way, I was going to ask about a book and you answered my question because with a name like Pen Paranormal, I was going to be like, I wonder if she's written a book.
Well, I actually started writing one about McIntyre Villa
Okay.
couple of years ago. And then I just decided, like, what's my goal here? It's not to make
Right.
money or even to be published. I really just want to share my stories. And so I just started putting them out there on Facebook, like one chapter at a time. And that gave me more joy than I think, publishing a book. It'll be fun. It'll be great to publish a book, but mostly I just want my stories in people's hands. I don't want them to have to buy them.
I love that. I was going to say you definitely should. I mean, you can probably do an ebook and do it, offer it for free.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Just have a collection of your stories. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are you up for some rapid fire questions?
Ooh, let's try it. I'm not very good. I'm a writer,
Okay.
not a speaker, but we'll try it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Spirit box or EVP recorder?
Spirit box.
More afraid of shadow figures or poltergeists?
Poltergeist.
Do you prefer investigating inside or outside?
Inside.
What is one location you'll never return to?
I haven't had one.
That's good. That's usually the answer from everybody that I've asked this question to.
Hmm.
That's really
Bigger
cool.
the
That is
experience.
usually their answer.
Yeah, the scarier or bigger the experience, the more we're drawn back to figure out what it is.
That's awesome. Favorite time of night to conduct an investigation?
One.
One. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you weren't investigating the paranormal, what would you be doing?
Do you mean like as a hobby or
Yes.
a
Yeah. Yeah. As
mom,
a hobby.
and a school counselor, I guess. That keeps me pretty busy.
One word to describe your first paranormal encounter.
Terrifying.
Yeah. But in
Yeah.
a very good way, apparently.
Well, my first one, I was really little. I was like 3 or 4. Yeah, so it's one of
Oh,
my
that
first.
is little.
Yeah, yeah. One of my first memories was a paranormal encounter. Yeah. So, like I said, the property we live on is very haunted. Um,
Hmm.
there was a murder here, there was a here, and it's also just ancient land, right?
Wow.
So there's a lot of Native American artifacts on it and stuff like that. So when I was little, there was a man that would come into my bedroom, and the first time I saw him, like I can describe exactly what he was wearing, what he looked like. He had a hat on, not like a hat man hat, but more like a farmer's sun
Hmm.
hat. So he came in and sat on my bed, and I could actually feel my bed move like when he sat down on it. And I thought it was a living person. And
Hmm.
you've heard of like too scared to scream. I was literally like too
Right.
scared
Yeah.
to scream. Like I just pulled the covers up over my head, and then when I looked again, he was gone. But I continued to see him as I grew up, and my friend that her and I formed the first group I was in, Timberline Paranormal, she and I would see him. She would see him also, and we would hear him, and he would go up and down the steps. There was just constantly paranormal activity in this old farmhouse that I grew up in. I'm still in the same property, just not in the same
Hmm.
house.
Okay. Is
I
it
feel
like
like
family land?
Yeah, yeah, family farm. So I feel like he's followed me my whole life. I feel like I know exactly who it is, and he's not like a bad person. He was just traumatized, and probably the suicide is who it is. But yeah, so that was my first experience, and it just continued. And my parents weren't believers, so it's something I kind of just dealt with on my own. And now they are more, well, my dad especially, and mom's supportive, but hesitantly.
I understand that completely. My mother is super supportive, listens to every episode, buys my merch, shares my
Mhm.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm her little weirdo is pretty much,
Yes.
she's so
Yeah.
weird. Bless her heart. We love her. Okay, last question, okay? If you could ask a spirit just one question, what would it be?
What does heaven look like?
Oh, I love that. That's a good one. Yeah, that is a really good one. I like that question. We lost somebody recently close to our family, and she was 13. And I
Oh,
know my
that's
kids have been, yeah, my kids have been struggling with that. And I know my daughter, she's really, I'm not so much religious as I am spiritual, and my daughter doesn't understand. And I just try to be supportive of whatever she decides to believe in. And she's really clinging to her faith and talking about heaven. And she just keeps saying, like, Mom, I know that got to be happy, or she's, because heaven just fixes everything. It's got to be beautiful up there. And she just keeps, yeah. So I think that is a beautiful question.
yeah. In this field, it's brought me, like I say, a lot of friends from different walks of life, and a couple have had near-death experiences. And one of the things that they talk about is just how totally peaceful it is on the other side of things. Like it's so peaceful to the point where they don't want to come back, but they're sent back. And, I don't want to say like, I can't wait for the day. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, when you do lose people and they're waiting for you, like that's so comforting. And I'm kind of like you. I grew up in a very religious household, and now I'm more spiritual. And I think a lot of what we're taught is probably, well, it doesn't necessarily align to my beliefs now, but I haven't
Right.
lost the belief that I'm still a Jesus girl. I still
Mm-hmm.
believe that there are wonderful things waiting for us on the other side. And I think that, what we experience probably with spirits is visitations. It's not that they're stuck or that they've been bound to somewhere. It's like a choice. Like I like to think that my grandmother comes and sees me, Eloise. So we were very, very close. And I actually like went home from the hospital with her. She was the first person I ever really bonded with as a baby. And, one of my earliest memories of her, and she'd passed when I was fairly young, was walking this down to this spring house they had on their property. And there were just hundreds, if not thousands, of monarch butterflies. Like they were just everywhere. It was the monarch season. And it was just like out of a fairy tale. And now I might be walking outside and a monarch will just come and land on me. And I always think, oh, that's grandma, like saying hello. And I know butterflies are common, for people to think that it's somebody saying hello, but I especially connect it to that memory of her. And there's so many things that happen for me just with her and with my other grandparents, like little things that pop in, and I'm like, oh, that's grandpa or that's grandma. And so I really feel like they are just so close and with us all the time. We think of like heaven as this far away place, but I really think it's just right there. Right there. Like there is a veil there, just beyond it, they're there.
Well, I didn't expect you to make me cry.
I'm sorry. I probably just shared
No,
way
no,
too much of my beliefs here, but
no, it's absolutely beautiful. So it's ever since we lost, there's butterflies everywhere. And
really.
I mean, yes, and butterflies are not uncommon, but I don't see them on a regular basis. But now
Hmm.
I'm seeing them everywhere I go, whether it is a print on the wall or I bought this rug for the studio and it came in a couple days after she passed. And I opened it and it has butterflies on all four corners and in the middle. And then my one of my friends who's also my mentor, she raises monarch butterflies and she raised one from a caterpillar and released it in her honor, in her name. And It is, you said that and it's just like, oh my gosh. And her mother found me on TikTok today, and she had found the video made it to her in Illinois. And we're not friends. We met at the funeral for the first time because she lives in Illinois and was here in South Carolina. She viewed my profile and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I go to the video and she commented on it. And she told me, she messaged me later and said, I have been seeing butterflies. And I'm just like, it's her.
Yes. Yep. That's such great validation. And just
Yeah,
even doing
it's
this tonight
beautiful.
and us having this conversation, everything is connected. Everything's connected. And they
Yep,
will send you
I
the
believe
pieces,
that.
send you the signs all the time.
Yep. And when you were talking, I told my husband, I was like, I feel like Mom has a message she wants me to give her mom. I can feel it. And I did my dowsing rods because I could feel her today. And I was like, okay, do you have a message that you need me to give to her? And they crossed. And I was like, okay, I will work on trying to figure out what that message is because I don't know.
Hmm.
And when you were talking about peace, it's like maybe that's what her mom needs to know, that she's okay. Maybe that's what it is. But when you said it, it was just like I got the wind sucked out of my air, sucked out of my body. It was just like, oh, wow, that is maybe that's what it is. My goodness, sometimes I cry on this podcast and it always surprises me.
Well, I feel honored to be a part of it. Not making you cry, but part of my story. That's
Well,
really
I
sweet.
appreciate you so much. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your flexibility and taking the time out of your day and talking with me. And I'm so glad we were able to do this.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes. Yes. The pleasure is mine. And I'm just, I'm, I'm so glad. Like JD had mentioned it and I was like, oh, I will, I will. And I think at the time he had mentioned it, it was shortly after she passed. So I was like, I got stuff going on, but I'm going to reach out to her. And so it took it. I mean, it was fairly recent. So I was like, I'm going to get to him. I'm going to get, I promise I will. So I'm just so glad it all worked out.
Me too. I'm excited. Yeah, when JD told me who
Yes.
it was, I was like, I know her. Like I follow her on TikTok. I know who that is.
Oh, I'm famous in a middle school, apparently.
I mean, is there really a better place to be famous? No.
I mean, I guess it's better to be famous or infamous. I guess you're going to be one or the other in middle school.
That's right.
What an amazing interview. Thank you so much, Ashley, for joining me. This seriously was something that I needed. I didn't know I needed it. I was looking forward to it, but it hit differently in my soul. And I appreciate you coming on and allowing me the opportunity to get to know you and to hear some of your more personal interactions and encounters with the paranormal. I feel so honored that I got to experience that with you. And y'all, go follow Ashley at Pen Paranormal. You can find her on TikTok. You can find her on Facebook. She's amazing. Go do it. What are you waiting for? And while you are there, I'm there too. I am officially on Facebook. What? Ghost Gossip Podcast. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, all the things. Send me your ghost gossip at ghostgossip247@gmail.com. You can also send me story suggestions, history, if you like what I'm doing. Thank y'all for listening. And I hope you stick around for next week because we got another Listener Happenings episode. Until next time, they'll see you later.